What's up, everybody? Old School NYC Gamer back once again here with another video, and this is pretty much going to be a shoot from the hip, off the cuff video talking about a console that's coming out later this year, and from looking up at the title, and that is a Microsoft Xbox One. Now, quite a bit has been said about this console, pretty much mostly on the negative. There are a couple of the plus sides that we will talk about, but I want to give my feelings and my thoughts on this. As this, was talked about, for the last couple of weeks, the major cons to this, which I will talk about and kind of divulge a little more. Now, from looking at the presentation of this, I believe it was called Xbox Reveal, I watched a bit of it, and to be quite honest, people, I was not impressed at all. Just from looking at the console, yeah, it's very boxy, kind of like an old school stereo component system, which was a big deal back in the 80s, which I will talk a little bit more about that a little bit in this video. Now, like I said, it's just more of a boxier version. It looks a little more sleeker, which is not a bad thing, but like I said, this goes with all the bells and whistles, which we will talk about in a minute or two. Now, like I said, I wasn't really that impressed by it. The way they're pushing this console is more for the general public and not for the gaming community and the gamers out there in general, which has always been, Microsoft's bread and butter. And they know that, but I guess in their eyes, they want to kind of branch out just to test the waters to see what they could do with this kind of a console. Now, of course, I'm looking over here. I do apologize if I'm not looking directly into the camera, but just looking at some of the specs, with 8 gigabytes of DDR RAM, that's a good thing. Of course, you got the 8-core Microsoft custom processor, CPU, which is a good thing. And you got the 500 gigabytes of storage, 500 gigabyte hard drive, which is, not bad. Of course, you could do storage on the cloud. You can, let me see here. I'm sorry. A couple of things I'm kind of looking at, which now I will talk about some of the downsides of this. The major thing, and I know a lot of people, two things actually that really pissed off people royally on this. The one thing with the whole used game market, now the way this is going to be going, Microsoft is pretty much going to end that. And it's going to really kill off sales for a lot of people, and even stores like GameStop, and not necessarily GameStop I honestly do care about, but even more of the more independent gaming stores are going to suffer majorly because of this. Now, of course, I can understand that the game developers want to make their money. I understand that. But between, downloadable content and things like this is killing off the console market slowly but surely. Now, if Sony is smart and they know they're seeing this, from reading so far from what I have been reading and researching, and of course, that could always change in any day they want to do this. They're actually going to stick with the, selling their used games to whoever would want to play it, whereas Microsoft is pretty much going to end that. So, in a way, Sony has the plus on that. Now, leaving your console on to, for whatever, to be on the internet, or you always have to be connected online, I do not agree with that. Not everybody could afford electricity bill, but also in a lot of areas around the world do not have the best internet connection. Some people don't even have that. So if they buy this console, why? Why would you spend this money? For the price points that I've been looking at are anywhere between $350 to $400, which doesn't seem too bad, but honestly, for the specs on this, for a couple $100 more, you could actually get a plausible PC, and you can get way better games. Some of these games on the soon-to-be released Xbox One, no surprise, will be on the PC. Like even Grand Theft Auto 5, that's going to be on my Xbox One. That will be on the PC. Just a little example there. And if you have a good enough computer, almost the same specs for maybe $100 or $200 more, and you can do a lot more with the PC compared to what you could do on the Xbox One. The other thing is a lot of connectivity you could do. You could hook up your cable to this thing. It's voice recognition. And that might seem all well and good, but the one thing, and I know this is a major thing that everyone has been talking about, when it comes to this console. With the Kinect, it'll basically see everything you do, with your hand movements, voice recognition, stuff like that. Now, if you remember A Space Odyssey 2001, when the computers get a little too smart, they pick up on your things and they kind of advance themselves. And I know this is kind of gibberish, conspiracy theory talk, but if some of this stuff is kind of almost literally happening. Stuff like what would happen in the movies. It gets too far advanced and things get a little too real. Or even best example, if you want to know how this is like almost Big Brother watching you. If you ever read the book 1984, you pretty much know where I'm getting this little reference from. I don't want to have, a console monitoring my moves and whatnot. I want to play the game. I don't care for it to be, connected to whatever. I have a cable box. I have a DVD player. I have a VCR. I don't mind having separate remotes for that type of thing. I don't need one big cumbersome thing in front of me looking at me whenever I'm laying down on the couch sleeping, eating, or God knows what. Now, talking about the design of this thing, like I said, it's a big console from looking at it. Now, of course, even through Microsoft's eyes, they think bigger is better. That could be, the case. It could not be. I'll give you an example here. See, this is the original Xbox. Even though it's a kind of a big console, they packed this thing with almost, there's pretty much no empty space within in this console itself. That's example number one. Now, example number two, and I'm going to use this as a very, since this is an 80s console, is the Atari 5200. Now, for a lot of people who don't know, this is basically a consoleized version of the Atari 8-bit computer line. All it is, the board is basically here. There's a lot of room in here, but they thought bigger is better. Not necessarily the case. I mean, people, you gotta really, I would say I know a lot of people will go out and get this console. That's their prerogative. Me personally, I will not get this. And the major thing for me, and I really don't agree with it, is it's not backwards compatible. Which I honestly scratch my head on this one, because the Xbox 360, backwards compatible. PlayStation 3 to a certain extent can't play PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 games if you know how to mod it. Even the PS2 could play PlayStation 1 games. I mean, another example I could say, even the ColecoVision, when they had the expansion module, you could play Atari 2600 games on that. The Intellivision 2 had a system changer where you could play Atari 2600 games, so on and so forth. Now, like I said, Microsoft pretty much knows what they're doing. They're just testing the waters, but in their eyes, is this going to make or break the gaming division of Microsoft? It probably will, but then again, they're not going to, divulge every single thing to the public. They're going to wait till release date, and then they're going to see how it goes. So, who knows? Who knows how this will turn out, people? I mean, in a way, if this does go down, this will probably will be the last generation of console gaming, but I could be wrong on that as well. This is just my views on this. So, what do you guys and gals think? Leave your comments below. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down there. Check me out on Facebook and Twitter, and that's about it. So, excuse me for all the gibberish. I know probably half of it didn't make sense, but like I said, this was pretty much an off-the-cuff video. Just wanted to, divulge my thoughts on this. And that's about it, people. Have a great weekend, and take care of yourselves. Cheers.